18 years ago, my younger sister was mistakenly swapped at birth. The girl who was brought to our family, raised as our own for 18 years, was not our biological daughter. When the truth came out and the real daughter returned, the girl we raised, Sophia Bennett, sobbed to her, "I don't want anything. I just want to stay with Mom, Dad, and my big sister." But then she turned around and did everything she could to take what rightfully belonged to the true daughter. She even tried to win my support, the eldest daughter of the prestigious Bennett Corporation. Unfortunately for her, I was firmly on the side of my true sister, Clara, along with her friend, May Frost. I hope you all enjoy this story as much as I did. After receiving a call from my father, I rushed home immediately. Stepping into the living room, I saw my mother sitting on the sofa, her eyes red from crying, staring at a girl standing nearby. Next to Mom was Sophia, the girl we had raised as the second daughter of the Bennett family. She was clinging tightly to Mom's arm, her face pale and tear-streaked. Following Mom's gaze, I looked at the girl and was stunned. She looked almost identical to me. Pale skin, large eyes, and even a small mole near the corner of her eye, just like mine. But our demeanor was different. She was thin, her hair tied back in a ponytail, looking slightly malnourished. She wore a worn-out short-sleeved shirt and faded white jeans, though they were clean. In her hand she held an old backpack. She glanced at me briefly, then looked away. When Mom saw me, it was as if she'd seen a lifeline. She hurried over. "Ava, you're back." I nodded and walked to her side. "What's going on, Mom?" Dad called me, but he didn't explain anything clearly. With tearful eyes, Mom looked at the girl in the living room and said, choking up, "Ava, this is your sister Clara. 18 years ago, she was swapped with Sophia by mistake." Sophia lowered her head, her thoughts unreadable, her hands clenched into fists. Mom continued, "The person who took Clara passed away long ago. She grew up in an orphanage." I looked at Clara and comforted Mom. "No one wanted this to happen. Now that Clara's back, we'll make it up to her." Mom nodded, looking at Clara with guilt. Clara seemed calm, but her slightly trembling body betrayed her emotions. I smiled at her. "Welcome home." Her eyes reddened, but she said nothing. Suddenly, Sophia burst into sobs. Mom, drawn by her crying, went to wipe her tears. "Sophia, what's wrong?" Sophia threw herself into Mom's arms, stammering, "Mom, sis, do you still need me?" Mom quickly reassured her. "Of course we need you. Don't cry, Sophia. We'll take care of you." "Don't worry. We won't send you away." Sophia sobbed harder. "I don't want to leave Mom and sis." Mom, heartbroken, comforted her. No, you'll always be our little princess." As Mom consoled Sophia, I glanced at Clara, who had been silently observing everything. In that moment, I caught Sophia giving Clara a provocative smirk, far from the pitiful act she was putting on. Before she noticed me watching, I turned to Mom. "It's late, Mom. Let's arrange a place for Clara to stay first." "Yes, let Clara rest," Mom agreed. Sophia, playing sweet, said, "Mom, why don't we let Clara stay in my room?" "No, Sophia, you might not sleep well if you change rooms," Mom said quickly, then glanced at Clara, realizing her mistake. "Then it'll have to be the guest room." "Clara, please bear with it." Sophia, feigning concern, said, "Let Clara stay with me, Mom. Have you forgotten my room has 2 beds?" I spoke up slowly. "No need. My room has plenty of space." Sophia's face darkened, but she protested, "But sis, don't you prefer not sharing your space?" Our house was a 3-story mansion. The first floor had the living room and staff quarters. The second floor had my parents' master bedroom, Sophia's room, and a guest room. The third floor had Dad's study, a lounge, and my room, which was the largest and most beautifully designed in the house. Sophia had once asked to share my room, but Dad refused, and Mom couldn't override him. "For one night, it's fine," I said. "Tomorrow we'll decorate a room for Clara. If she needs anything, she can tell me or Mom." Mom smiled, and Clara, looking tired, nodded. I led her to my room and invited her to sit. She softly said, "Thank you." It was the first time I heard her voice, pleasant but cold. After settling her in, I called Dad, who was on a business trip and wouldn't be back soon. I explained the situation briefly. When he heard Mom was letting Sophia stay, he paused but didn't object, only telling me to handle things if needed. I wasn't surprised by Mom's decision. As the eldest daughter, I'd been raised with high expectations, trained by Dad to excel in every way. People always praised Ava Bennett, the eldest daughter of the Bennett family. Sophia, however, was different. No one expected much from her. Mom sheltered her, not wanting her to face the pressures I did. So Sophia grew up carefree, without the burden of academic or professional demands. My relationship with her was polite but distant. We had little in common. After calming myself, I went to check on Clara. As I approached her room, I heard soft sobbing. I stood at the door, giving her time to process. The next morning, I went downstairs to find Mom and Sophia at the breakfast table. Mom, who rarely slept much and did morning yoga, was always up early. Sophia, however, was not a morning person. "Good morning, sis," Sophia chirped, wearing a high-necked doll dress and a diamond-encrusted headband. "You're up early today," I remarked, grabbing a slice of bread. "She didn't sleep well last night," Mom said, smiling as she served me porridge. "She wants to start waking up early like us." Sophia grinned sweetly. Just then, Clara walked in, wearing a tracksuit and earphones. Mom called out, "Clara, come eat breakfast." Clara nodded and sat down, glancing at the food but not touching it. "Clara, eat more. Don't you usually love these dishes?" Sophia said with a smile. "I usually only eat steamed buns and noodles," Clara replied blankly. Sophia's smile froze, and Mom's eyes reddened. Watching Sophia's subtle hostility toward Clara, I grew more certain of her intentions. Sophia looked at Clara's tracksuit and smirked. "That tracksuit suits you, Clara." Clara's tracksuit was cheap, with visible patches. Sophia was implying Clara looked poor. Mom, missing the jab, smiled. "Sophia's right. You look great in anything, Clara." Clara glanced at Sophia's elegant outfit and said flatly, "At the orphanage, we wore donated clothes. I've had this for 4 years. If you like it, you can have it." Sophia flushed with embarrassment. "Who'd want it?" I couldn't help but laugh. I thought Clara was timid, but she surprised me. Mom finally noticed Clara's worn clothes and said, "Clara, I'll have new clothes brought for you today. Pick whatever you like." Before Clara could respond, Sophia jumped in. "Mom, I want some too. I've been eyeing MS's limited edition collection." Mom agreed instantly. "All right, I'll have them sent over." Clara glanced at them, then went upstairs. Clara didn't mind transferring schools and stayed quiet at home. I was busy with work and didn't pay much attention. A week later, Dad returned from his trip. Mom and the staff prepared a big dinner. Sophia and Clara weren't home yet. When Sophia arrived, carrying her school bag cheerfully, she saw Dad and became more reserved. "Dad, you're back." Clara followed slowly, her backpack slung over her shoulder. She froze when she saw Dad. He smiled at her. "You're Clara." She nodded slightly. I introduced them. "Clara, this is Dad." She nodded again, saying nothing. Dad didn't press her, just told her to come to me if she needed anything and handed her a credit card. Sophia watched closely, her eyes cold. After dinner, I passed Clara's room and heard her practicing English, struggling with pronunciation. I knocked, and she looked surprised. "Something wrong?" "Are you practicing English?" I asked directly. Yes," she said hesitantly. I realized the school I'd chosen for her taught in English, which was tough for her since she hadn't studied it growing up. "My mistake," I said. "You can't learn like this. After school, come to my room. I'll teach you." "Why are you helping me, Was?" Clara asked, looking up. I smiled, touching her head. Because you're my real sister. Her eyes welled up, but she didn't refuse. From then on, she came to my room daily. Sophia was furious whenever she saw Clara with me. A few days later, I noticed Clara arriving later each day, looking unwell. She'd shower after school, then come to my room in thick pajamas. At first, I didn't think much of it, but one day, I saw bruises on her arm. When I asked, she said she'd fallen during gym class. I didn't believe her, but didn't push. Investigating was easy for me, Ava Bennett. I found out Sophia was behind it. Her friends were bullying Clara, gluing her textbooks, locking her in the bathroom, and dumping trash on her. I was surprised. Sophia always acted calm, but she couldn't sit still anymore. Our relationship had always been strained. She competed with me subtly, envious of my achievements. At my 12th birthday, Grandpa gave me a rare jade pendant worth over $1 million, crafted into a necklace by Dad. Sophia cried to Mom, demanding it. Mom asked me to give it to her, but I refused, saying Dad and Grandpa would be upset. Sophia didn't give up. While I was showering, she tried to steal it, but I'd hidden it. Later, she faked an illness, claiming headaches. Her friend Hannah visited and hinted that jade could help with health. Mom asked me to lend Sophia the pendant, but I lied, saying Grandpa was having it repaired. Mom dropped it, and Sophia, furious, actually fell ill. Dad warned both her and Mom after I told him. Since then, Sophia was more cautious around me. Back to the present, I prepared to teach Clara. After her shower, she came to my room. I checked her homework and saw she was smart, showing traces of the Bennett family. Noticing her out-of-season pajamas, I asked about her school relationships. She paused, then said casually, "Pretty good. Everyone's friendly." I looked into her eyes. "Clara, you're a Bennett. You need to know that." "What do you mean, Ava?" she asked, wary. I pointed to the watch I'd given her, now water-damaged, but still on her wrist. "Do you like it?" She looked nervous. "I'm sorry, Ava. I accidentally got it wet while showering. I'll fix it." I smiled. "It's fine. If it's broken, toss it." Before she could respond, I continued, "That watch cost over $10,000. Not expensive, but it's limited edition. Sophia's always loved luxury. She probably got jealous seeing it on you. Her clothes, bags, and jewelry are all high-end, delivered to her with a word. You might not even recognize the brands yet. You haven't shopped much. The $20,000 Dad gave you isn't enough. That's just our monthly allowance." Clara's face flushed with anger. "What are you saying? Are you looking down on me?" "I just want you to understand these things should be yours. You're a Bennett. Don't be so timid." I stood, opened the door, and gestured for her to leave. She glared at me, grabbed her things, and stormed out. She stopped coming to my room for lessons. A week later, my assistant reported that Clara had switched classes, worked hard to gain teachers' favor, and made peace with her bullies. I smiled, but said nothing. It wasn't enough. Sophia and Mom went abroad for a few days and returned today. The staff prepared a lavish dinner. Dad came home early, a rare family gathering. Sophia, in a good mood, wore a new C-brand bracelet, flaunting it in front of Clara. Clara noticed, her expression darkening. Sophia, glancing at Dad, said sweetly, "Dad, Mom and I got you a gift." Mom smiled. "Yes, she kept saying you worked so hard and wanted to get you something." Dad nodded. "You're thoughtful." Sophia turned to me. "Ava, Clara, I got gifts for you too. Hope you like them." Mom added, "A necklace for Ava, earrings for Clara." I thanked her, but Clara stayed silent, her face grim. Sophia, feigning innocence, asked, "Clara, you don't look happy. Don't you like them?" Clara said coldly, "Thanks for your kindness, but I don't have pierced ears." "Keep them." The room grew awkward. Mom quickly put food on Clara's plate. Sophia meant well. Sophia, acting hurt, said, Clara, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. I just wanted to get you something. Mom comforted Sophia. Don't blame yourself. Clara's new here. You didn't know. Dad, impatient, said, pick something else. He got up and left. Sophia smirked at Clara, who bit her lip, looking at Mom comforting Sophia but ignoring her. When Clara looked at me, I just smiled. She said, I'm full, and left. I thought it'd take her a while to come to me, but soon she was at my door. I want to take back what's mine. Will you help me? I was surprised but smiled, touching her head. Of course. You're my sister. On Monday, I drove Sophia and Clara to school. Sophia, wary, asked, You're so busy, Ava. Why are you taking us to school? Exams are coming. I'm checking on your studies for Mom, I replied. Sophia laughed. You know my grades are terrible. I should focus more. With me here, you don't need to work hard. Just keep Mom and Dad happy, I said. Sophia grinned smugly while Clara watched her coldly through the rearview mirror. At school, I told them to go to class and went to the principal's office. Principal Thompson was surprised to see me. Miss Bennett, what brings you here? Sophia's been improving. After some small talk, I said, I'm not here for Sophia, but for Clara. He was confused. Clara's my sister, I explained. I heard she's been bullied at school. Can you explain, Principal Thompson? The principal looked at the homeroom teacher, who nervously said, A misunderstanding, Miss Bennett. We didn't know Clara's identity. I won't pursue past issues, but I don't want to hear about this again, I said sternly. Of course. If Clara has any problems, she can come to me, the principal assured. Clara, standing beside me, had teary eyes. I touched her head, sending her out, then added, Sophia can be immature. If she needs discipline, don't hold back for the Bennett family's sake. No one doubted my words. Everyone knew my status in the family. The homeroom teacher muttered as I left, Times are changing. Outside, I told Clara, You're doing well, but with the Bennett name, things will be easier. That's the first thing you need to understand. Her eyes lit up, and she nodded firmly. That evening, Sophia looked upset while Clara was unusually cheerful. Sophia sobbed to Mom, Everyone at school is saying I'm not a real Bennett. Mom, worried, said, Don't cry. How do they know? Sophia cried harder, looking at Clara. Clara, did you tell them? Why would you? I just want to stay with Mom, Dad, and Sis. Mom swayed, turned to Clara. Did you tell your classmates? How could you? What about Sophia? Clara, startled, teared up, but said firmly, I didn't say anything. Those rumors aren't lies, are they? She's lived my life for 18 years. Mom, furious, slapped Clara. Her face reddened and swelled. Realizing what she'd done, Mom faltered. Clara, Dad, who'd come home early, cut in. Clara's not wrong. Didn't she suffer in Sophia's place for 18 years? You're her mother. How can you treat her like this? Mom, ashamed, fell silent. I spoke up. While tutoring Clara, I noticed bruises on her. I found out she was being bullied at school. Today, I told the principal, and the news must have spread. Mom, flustered, said, Clara, I was too hasty. Please forgive me. Clara lowered her head. You're Sophia's mother, not mine. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Dad, tired of the drama, said, Clara's last name should be changed. Ava, help her with that. Next month is your mom's birthday. Prepare something special for Clara. I understand, I said, nodding. Clara smiled faintly at me. Sophia, silenced by Dad, apologized to Clara. I changed Clara's last name to Bennett in 2 days. She adapted quickly, becoming Clara Bennett. Sophia grew increasingly hostile. At breakfast, she accidentally spilled coffee on Clara's uniform. After school, she stole Clara's phone charger and money, leaving her to walk home for 2 hours. The staff noticed their tension, but Mom still treated Sophia like a treasure. Clara avoided confronting Sophia, but things escalated one morning. Clara's breakfast was just bread and a fried egg. I realized Sophia had spoken to the staff. "You're eating too little. Take mine," I said, swapping plates. Clara tried to protest, but I was too quick. Sophia watched, saying nothing. After 2 bites, I struggled to breathe, my face flushing. Everyone panicked. Mom rushed over. "Ava, what's wrong?" Clara reacted instantly. "Allergy. Get her to the hospital." Sophia stood frozen. At the hospital, after 2 hours, I recovered. Dad rushed back. Clara stood by my bed, while Sophia sat nearby, looking uneasy. "How are you, Ava?" Dad asked. "Much better," I said weakly. "How could you have an allergic reaction? The staff know you're allergic to peanuts," Mom said, confused. "Maybe ask Sophia," Clara said coldly. Sophia stammered. "What? It's not my fault." Ava ate my breakfast. She knew I'm allergic too and wanted to harm me, but Ava ate it instead. Clara snapped. "You knew Ava was allergic, but didn't stop her." "What were you thinking?" I smiled inwardly. Clara had grown bold. I'd eaten the food on purpose, knowing it had exposed Sophia. If Clara had been the one affected, it might have been overlooked, but Dad wouldn't ignore my safety. Dad, furious, said, "Sophia, is Clara right? You watched your sister have an allergic reaction. Is this how we raised you?" Sophia, tearful, denied it. "No, Dad, Clara's lying. I didn't know there were peanuts. How could I do something so stupid?" Clara challenged, "You've done plenty to me. Dare to confront the staff?" Sophia, cornered, cried harder. "Dad, Mom, I didn't mean it. I don't know what to say. If Clara doesn't like me, I'll leave." Mom, soft-hearted, said, "Ava's fine now." "Sophia, don't talk nonsense. This is your home." Clara, furious, said, "In your heart, Sophia's your only daughter. You ignore me, fine, but Ava grew up with you too." Mom frowned. "Clara, stop targeting Sophia. She's not perfect, but she's not bad." Clara laughed bitterly. "Target her? She's had everything handed to her. When I was in elementary school, I could barely get a working pen. She wears designer clothes. I wore a patched tracksuit for 4 years. She was pampered, while my foster parents beat me and made me do chores at 5. Why did she take my parents, my sister, everything? I suffered for her for 18 years. Why should I understand her?" Her words hit me hard. I'd felt drawn to Clara from the start, and knowing she was my sister made me want to make up for her pain. Mom's eyes teared up, but Sophia pulled her aside and she said nothing. Dad, after a long silence, coughed. I spoke weakly. "Mom, Dad, I'm fine. Sophia's young. She didn't mean to harm Clara." But I added, "Youth isn't an excuse for mistakes. Cut her allowance for 6 months. If it happens again, she's out." Dad glared at Mom. We won this round. That night, Clara came to my room. "You knew the breakfast was tampered with, didn't you? You're not slow." She flushed with anger. "Why would you eat it? Allergies can kill." "Don't play with your health," I reassured her. I knew what I was doing. It was the only way to get attention. Her shoulders trembled as she cried. "Why are you crying?" I asked. She hugged me, sobbing. "You're the only one who's been kind to me. You're all I have. Don't put yourself in danger again. I can't lose you." I patted her head. "I promise. And you're not foolish. You're my brilliant sister." She laughed through tears. "I'll catch up to you, sis." Recently, Clara's been busy. To help her fit into our world, I enrolled her in etiquette and horseback riding classes. Noticing her love for piano, I hired a private teacher. Sometimes I took her abroad for fashion weeks and auctions. She worked hard, transforming in a month. Her grades soared, topping her school. Sophia, seeing my growing support for Clara, felt threatened but stayed quiet at home. I had the staff watch her, noticing she was scheming with her friends. Mom's birthday arrived, a grand event at our company's W Hotel. I invested heavily in Clara's debut, dressing her in a limited edition M-House gown from Paris, adorned with gemstones, and a custom pink diamond necklace. She looked like a jewel. Sophia, not to be outdone, begged Mom for a stylist and wore a white fairy tale gown from another luxury brand, fitting Clara's style. I wore a custom black dress with pearl accents and a matching limited edition bag, keeping it elegant to avoid overshadowing Clara. At the party, Mom and Dad announced Clara's identity, but didn't mention Sophia's status. Clara poised, introduced herself, her demeanor transformed. Guests noticed our similar faces, whispering speculations. I introduced Clara to key figures, and she beamed, whispering, "Sis, I did it." I smiled, patting her head. Later, Dad called me to meet some business partners. I warned Clara to be careful. Soon I heard screams and Sophia's voice. Rushing over, I saw Clara unconscious at the bottom of the stairs. I called the hospital immediately. Dad and Mom dispersed the guests. At the hospital, the doctor said Clara was lucky to survive. My assistant reported the staircase camera was broken. I glanced at Sophia, who said smugly, "How careless of Clara to fall on Mom's birthday. So unlucky." Mom frowned, but before she could speak, I slapped Sophia. "Clara's lying here unconscious, and you say that? How dare you?" "And how do you know she fell? Are you guilty?" Sophia, clutching her face, stammered, "You're talking nonsense. I was with friends, plenty of witnesses." I smirked as she looked nervous. Clara woke soon after, winking at me secretly. She said someone in purple pushed her, but didn't see who. I told her to rest and let me handle it. 2 days later, I brought Clara home. At dinner, I asked Sophia, "Clara's back safe. How do you feel?" "What do you mean?" "I'm happy for her," she said cautiously. I looked at Dad. I investigated. Clara was pushed by Hannah, Sophia's friend. Guess who put her up to it? I handed Dad a file with photos, a recording, and backup footage of Sophia and Hannah plotting. Mom, stunned, asked Sophia, "Why would you do this?" "Haven't I been good to you?" Sophia denied it, then broke down, begging Mom's forgiveness. Clara snapped, "I've done nothing to you. Why try to kill me?" Sophia laughed hysterically. "Your existence makes us enemies. You stole my parents, my sister, everything. I was the Bennett heiress for 18 years. Now everyone calls me a fake. You should have stayed gone. Why didn't you die?" She lunged at Clara, trying to strangle her. We pulled her off and sent her to a hospital. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder, Sophia was admitted to a psychiatric facility. Clara and I had anticipated her causing trouble at the party, so Clara played along, giving us a reason to deal with her. Mom, shaken, went abroad for a month. Clara, nearing graduation, chose to study abroad. I supported her, helping with her studies before she left. We grew closer, understanding each other deeply. Mom and Dad grew to love her more each day.